everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today we are finally diving into the most anticipated release of the season, the new Natasha Denona Tan palette. I love neutral eyeshadows these days, and when I saw this palette the first time, it was a love at first sight, so I had to get it. So today we are going to talk about this palette, my initial impressions of it. I have not really used this palette a whole lot, but we'll do a shade by shade breakdown. We will go through all the shades in this palette and we'll see if you really need this, especially if you're close to my skin tone. And I'll also show you how I have created this look today. So without much further ado, let's quickly get started with today's video. Here is the beautiful Natasha Denona Tan palette. It totally gives me sun-kissed, beachy, summery, toasty vibes. I really wonder how it would compare to some of the other toasty eyeshadow palettes I have. So probably I will cover it in another video. But this is the packaging of the Natasha Denona Tan palette. I will give you a close-up as well. And here are the beautiful shades of the palette. This comes in the same 15 eyeshadow format palette, and all of these eyeshadow pans, they are removable. Usually these pans have these holes at the back, so you can remove them, rearrange them, reorder them, and you can put in other shades from other palettes and have your own configuration. It's really fun, and I love the packaging of this Natasha Denona palettes. The packaging usually is very sturdy. It has a really nice sized mirror and it's very easy to travel with. I use my other Natasha Denona palettes quite a lot, especially the Dream palette and I Need a Nude palette. They are some of my most used palettes which I have. So I think let's go to this palette and see the textures which are available in this palette. Before we do that, let me quickly show you the swatches of all the shades in the palette so that you can get an idea of the kind of shades which are in here. Here is a close-up of the palette one more time. Swatching the first row: Sandal, Burnt, Brook, Villa and Kissed. Swatching the second row: Lazy, Dip, Spritz, Daydream and Serene. And swatching the third row: Soft Spot, Celeste, Paddle, Toasted and Glide. Now that you have seen the swatches, let's go through the textures in this palette. There are quite a few textures. The first one are the creamy mattes. There are 3 creamy mattes in this palette. We have Sandal, Dip and Glue. So creamy mattes are basically creamy eyeshadows which are not powder mattes. They are buttery smooth, very soft, and they blend so well. I think the creamy matte formula of Natasha Denona, it has come a long way from the cranberry eyeshadow palette. The creamy matte in that was just horrendous. It did not blend at all, and from that to these, this formula is just amazing, beautiful, buttery smooth. Love the creamy mattes of Natasha Denona. Sandal and Glue, they are, I think, going to be like everyday staples for me. Whenever you need one and done eyeshadow for everyday, like a brown eyeshadow, especially if you're close to my skin, you don't want something too intense, but something which will just give you a polished look. I think these 2 shades, they are going to be amazing. In fact, I have used these 2 shades in my eye look today as well. I will show you the eye look in the later part of the video. After the creamy mattes, we have the mattes or the powder mattes. The powder mattes are talc free. They are really soft. They blend so well. There are 3 of them here. This one, which is called Lazy, Soft Spot and Paddle. These 3 shades, these are the more lighter powder matte shades. All of these can be used to soften up your eyeshadow, giving it a more blended look, diffusing it further. So if you're close to my skin tone, you can use these 3 shades for that. And this one will also be good if you're close to my skin tone as an eyebrow highlight. So those are the 3 powder mattes in this palette. Then we have the metallic shades. There are different textures of metallic shades as well. There is that intense metallic. So we have 2 of them, which is a Villa, and we have Toasted. These 2 are smooth metallic, very high shine metallic shades, but they are very smooth. There's not a lot of sparkle in them, but they are pretty high shine. And we have 2 softer metallic shades. They are more of a satin metallic. They're not very intense. We have Kissed, which is right here, and we have Daydream, which is a more softer metallic. I love this shade Daydream. It's a very smooth, soft, satiny brown shade. For our kind of skin tone, it looks really nice. If you don't want something very intense, you can actually wear it on an everyday basis. It's not very intense, gives a nice sheen to the eyelids, very beautiful. Daydream and Villa, of course, you can use it as a inner eye highlight if you're close to my skin tone, or you can use on the eyelids as well, especially if you're more on the fairer side. I think this will work really well on the eyelids too. So those are the two different textures of metallic shades. Then we have this very intense sparkling foiled shades. So there are three of them. One is a burnt shade, which is like a amber color, like a very muted coppery sort of a color. Then we have Brook, which is one of my favorites in this palette. It is a grayish taupe with a lot of silver sparkles. It almost looks like a brown with a lot of silver sparkles. And we have Serene, which is also a brown, but it has a hint of that light pink. So it's more of a pinky brown shade. All of these three shades have a lot of sparkle and that foiled character. So they look really intense and sparkly on the eyes, and they're very smooth. You can apply them intensely on the eyelids, preferably with a finger, it works best. Or you can spread them out and it will give you a more sparkly, less intense foil look. And the next texture is what they're calling as sparkling wet texture, which is the shade Spritz. I have this on my eyelids today. It's that very sparkly, a very wet look eyeshadow. This one is more of a brown greenish, like a olivey brown shade. It's really beautiful. When you apply it on the eyes, your eyes are just going to look sparkly and very pretty. The sparkles are not very big, they are very fine sparkles. So it just reflects so beautifully on the eyes, especially in certain lightings. It just looks beautiful. So this shade is Spritz, which I have on my eyes today as well. One thing to note about this sparkly eyeshadow, since it has a lot of sparkles, it's best if you can use some sort of a glue underneath. So I have used a Pat McGrath base underneath, so I'm not getting a lot of sparkly fallouts. This one has a chance of sparkly fallouts. That's what I've noticed when I used it just like that. So something to note about this kind of formula. And the last texture of this palette is this one, which is called Metal Gloss. The shade name is Celeste. It's more of a nude shade, very similar to the shade Villa. Villa is more of a smoother metallic. It doesn't have a lot of sparkles, but Celeste is supposed to have a lot of that dimension, that wet glossy look on the eyelid, lot of sparkles and dimension to it. Honestly, I don't find a lot of difference of this one with the textures of metallic foiled. They appear very similar. So this one, especially if you apply this eyeshadow intensely on the eyelid, it's not going to do too much. It's not that difference. But if you diffuse it out, it does give more of that multi-dimensional reflective eyeshadow look. But I think for me this was kind of a disappointment. It's not doing too much on my skin tone, but on fairer skin tone this might look really nice. So I think more or less I'm happy with all the shades which are here in the palette. The sparkly shades, there are different tones, very versatile. There are just couple of shades which I feel like they're not going to work too much on my skin tone, like the one I mentioned right now. This one probably I'll just use as an inner corner highlight or something. But I just love the textures, all the other textures which are there in the palette, except probably the last one, which I don't really understand that much. But all the other textures, especially the metallic textures, the metallic satin textures, I think they are going to be beautiful for everyday. The creamy mattes, absolutely beautiful. So all in all, I am pretty happy with the palette. I don't think I have something which I have bought recently very similar to this. So I am quite happy about that. I may have palettes which are like older. They may be similar to this, so I will have to check. I haven't done that check. If I find some comparisons, I will definitely do a short video and I'll show you comparisons of this palette. But overall, I think I'm really happy with this palette and I will be using it a ton. I think this palette will work year round for me. Let me quickly tell you how I have created today's eye look. So for today's eye look, I have Sandal and Glide as my first two shades. I have used Sandal all over my eyelid. As you can see, it's a really nice caramelly brown shade and it just blends beautifully all over the eyelid. I have also used a little bit of the Glide. Then I've used this Pat McGrath eyeshadow base on my eyelids because I'm going to use the shade Spritz, which is very sparkly and it can cause some fallout. So I'm applying this base with my fingers on the eyelid, and I'll also apply the eyeshadow Spritz on my eyelid with the fingers. Just tapping it gently on my eyelids. Then to intensify the eyeshadow look, I have used the shade Dip, which is another creamy matte. As you can see, the look requires a little bit more diffusing, so I'm using the shade Soft Spot to blend everything out, to blend out the harsher edges. And then I've also used Lazy for underneath the eyebrows. This will give you a more highlighted look. I've used the shade Villa here in the inner corners. And I've used the shades Daydream and Toasted in the lower lash line. And that completes my eye look. So that's my first impressions of the Natasha Denona tan palette. I will definitely do more looks with this palette. Do check out my shorts. I will post some looks with this palette. And overall, I'm just so happy to have this. It's such a versatile palette. The color story is just amazing. So I hope this video was helpful. It's more of a shade breakdown for you guys. I wanted to post this video as soon as I could so that you could make a decision whether you need this palette or not. I will definitely post more comparison videos later. So that's it for today's video. I really hope this was helpful and you liked it. If you did, then please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're watching me for the first time, I really hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again really soon in my next video. Bye.